also known as Tiffany Hayes, but only on one website.
That works. Hello? Hey, awesome. Oh, there's a lot of people here. Thank you so much. As mentioned, I'm Tiffany from the Travelling Pint. I have a beer blog, which is pretty exciting. What a lot of you may not know, or a lot of followers may not know, is that I'm a 38-year-old living with type 1 diabetes. So I'm super stoked to actually be here tonight. Generally, I'm really comfortable talking about beer, talking about dogs, and kind of teaching people about that. But this is the first time I'm kind of sharing my story. So I'm like equally stoked as I am a little bit nervous. So I do have a little script in front of me. So don't mind me kind of reading from it, but I really want to make sure that I hit all the points. So you know it's a super special occasion when you actually change your Lancet for an event. So I thought I'd open up with a Lancet joke because I read online that you should start with jokes. So if there's any actual diabetics here, you kind of know what I mean by like changing your Lancet maybe once a year. Anybody? All right, well that's fine. We can just move on from there. So since I was a young, cute, well-behaved child, I've always been a dreamer with a big imagination and a certain zest for life. As I started to grow, I never quite understood why someone would want to be just one thing for the rest of their lives. I would wonder why my guidance counselor would expect me to pick one career to commit to and do that for what seemed like forever, especially when I was surrounded by adults at a young age that didn't really enjoy their jobs, seemed super stressed out, and just weren't really happy in life. But I did what I was told at that time. I filled out the test at age 11 that would determine my future according to my guidance counselor. At the age of 13, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And though I don't remember the exact date, I certainly remember the day like it was this morning. From that day on, I was given a career. Something I was stuck working on every day for the rest of my life. That I didn't really enjoy, with no vacation, and I still haven't gotten a paid 1 cent to this day, 25 years later, for dealing with. I'm pretty sure diabetic wasn't on that test back then and wasn't a choice for a career. Instead of starting out with all the ups and downs, the many tears shed, the scares and worries I put on my family and friends, I really want to talk to you guys about what diabetes have given me, and that's adventure. So there is a little bit of a silver lining on this whole thing. I guess since at that point, my daily job was now picked out, I made a decision to choose what else I had to do to actually earn a living, be something that I love. I've always been self-employed and had a lot of fun jobs, and that was a decision I made when I was young. I wanted to be able to have a flexible schedule for my health. I wanted to be able to do it where I want, when I wanted, so I could travel, and with the good old power of the internet. It didn't make sense to me to work a job that I hated for 40 plus years just to afford medicine that was keeping me alive to live life, aka a job behind a desk 8 hours a day. Life is going to be short enough, and I wanted to go out and I wanted to enjoy it. So at the age of 19, I traveled out of high school to live in Hong Kong for a year and teach English. You can imagine my parents' faces when they were sending off their only child with like 2 full suitcases, walking through the airport. Probably 1.5 of the suitcases was like insulin and supplies, because you know we don't travel light, and then like half a suitcase of clothes, and heading off to Hong Kong to visit the big bad world. So it was pretty awesome. I'm super thankful for them for allowing me to do that. It gave me more independence and let me discover what was more out there. A little bit of the travel bug, if you will. I have since been to over 12 countries across the globe. I've been a ski instructor, a dog sled guide, a zipline operator, a dog trainer. I've judged beer competitions. I've owned several successful small businesses. I've spoken at events. I've snorkeled the bluest waters, stood on top of mountains. I've gotten married. I'm still married. I've sailed the oceans. I've chased dreams, and I've even caught a few. About 2 years ago, I started the Travelling Pint. It was time to create something more mobile and to start to learn to travel once again. I fell in love with the learning. A whole new classroom I was actually interested in that tasted great and you could never know everything about. Craft beer consumed me, It was one of the friendliest communities that stand by each other's sides for the most part and love to see each other succeed and stand together to make a difference. So by traveling through new breweries across US and Canada, I discovered my new passion for craft beer and all that surrounded the industry. And it reignited my passion for travel and definitely discovery. Travelling Pint has turned from a 2-page website of blogs of my random thoughts and learning about beer into a community of like-minded folks following along my journey with me. Countless doors have been opened, many new friends have been made, plenty of delicious beers have been tasted, and I'm so anxious to get this done so I can start drinking more beer tonight. I host food and beer pairings around the city, and I've written a magazine about 47 breweries across Ontario. Diabetes has always been by my side, but it has not stopped me from doing anything that I want to do. I'm stoked to discover this little bit of diabetes sprinkled into my newfound hobby and job thanks to Crafting a Cure. And a few others in the industry, as well as like some brewers involved tonight, it's given me sort of a passion to start to share my story and kind of mix the two worlds. I've not given up my greatest love, craft beer, due to diabetes. In fact, I've built a career around it. And I've done so with my health in mind, and though some days it can be a balancing act, it's doable with some education. It's like everything else in life as a diabetic, figure out what works and do that. I love so much the learning, and it's really what keeps me going when you find something that you enjoy. One of my favorite quotes is, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. So always hang out with smarter people because you get to learn a lot of stuff. What has gotten me through to this point? So there's a few key things I'd like to share with you guys that has gotten me to still be standing here in somewhat of this wonderful condition. So I feel like I always do things a little bit different than most. I never went to diabetic camp. I never had a lot of diabetic friends. I never talked very much about my diabetes as a teen and especially as a young adult, or took the best care of myself. But I'm here today at the healthy age of 38 after 25 years of dealing with this, and I'd like to share the few key things that helped me get here. Exercise and activeness. So even at my less healthy times, I was always active. I was skiing the days away, I was hiking throughout the mountains, and I was biking. And I believed it helped along with my mental clarity, which is super important. It helped with my sugars and my activity and the control that I had. Hashtag earn your beer. So even though you're drinking beer, it's important to earn it by being active. Support. So whether we talked about my health or not, certain people were aware that was enough at times. Knowing they love me unconditionally, despite my mood swings or anger, not turning their backs or judging me or getting angry in return. You can be nosy, but not too nosy. You can talk about it, but not too much. You can hover, but you can't hover all the time. As a supporter, you really are walking on eggshells when us diabetics are at tough points in our lives. But we need you. Find the different support that works for you. And to all the supporters out there, I thank you, because we don't always say that in times. Mentors. This I felt I always lacked a little bit while growing up. But if I look back, there were certain ways that I could have found them. I just didn't really research, listen, because I might have been a bit stubborn, or ask for them. A lot of active people with similar thoughts, hobbies, and beliefs as mine are diabetic. Regardless, a mentor doesn't have to be that. A mentor is someone you look up to, whether they are on TV, YouTube, or next door. They give you hope, they speak words that give you strength, and they help you make decisions towards a better tomorrow. Go find one, no matter who you are. Some think I make diabetes look easy. Walking around with a smile on my face, a lifestyle of freedom and adventure, and not complaining daily on social media. Yes, I will not allow it to control me or put me in a box. And my aim is to show you that with effort, major emphasis on effort, it can be a little easier to manage, and we can all accomplish our dreams. We all have different obstacles in life. It just happens that diabetes is an added one into the mix. That is with me right early in the morning. It rides my back all day long and is deep with me into the middle of the night. So let me be honest for a little bit. I sort of chuckle because those of you that do know me, I'm a very honest person, so that doesn't really come by a surprise. But yes, I have diabetes, and no, I do not like it. but it's not really a choice. I have to deal with it. I want to live a life, and it's already short enough as it is. I hate the constant interruptions it gives me when I'm trying to go about my day. The way it can make me look like a slacker, as I need to be late sometimes or extend deadlines due to it. I hate the unpredictability. You can do the same thing every single day and diabetes won't act the same. I hate the lost time, so when my sugar is high, all I want to do is sleep all day long. But I can't. I need to take some insulin and drink water, because I feel like I could put my tap or my mouth under a hose and drink water for days. But I take insulin and I wait. And I wait. And I wait for it to kick in. To feel better enough to function. But then wait, it starts to drop low. And through the confusion, cold sweats, and blurriness, it's time to eat and bring that back up. And then I wait, and I wait again for it to come back up. So yes, some days it feels like I'm fighting a losing battle. And some days I wonder why I even try. Then I look what I'm fortunate to have, and I look back on all my past experiences, my triumphs, and my goals reached. I look forward in life to more goals I've set, dreams I'm ready to accomplish, and a family I want to create. I look in front of me at my family and friends, and my husband. My husband's here. My two best girlfriends from like 32 years are sitting over there, so I'm super stoked that they came today, so thank you. And I think to myself, if I've made it 25 years, what's another 5, 30, 40, or 50? Because of constant improvement in education, things do improve. And because of fundraisers like Crafting the Cure, we are able to make a difference together. I do at times get tired of hearing about a cure, but there's always advancement, there's always new technology, there's more support, and they're always making way tastier candy to help with your low sugars. This all gives me a glimmer of hope and helps me hold my head high. I hope to be a different kind of role model for someone similar to what I needed in my life growing up. Someone where diabetes is still a priority and important, but didn't take over conversations and be their label or excuse in life. Someone real that doesn't sugarcoat it, but celebrates the wins and always wants to be better, because perfect is impossible, but you can always be better. So I'd like to thank my mom and dad for basically everything, my husband for putting up with me, my girlfriends who have been by my side for 32 years. I'd like to give a special thanks to Skittles, Snickers, and grape juice for rescuing me from my lows. Those are like my favorite go-tos. And I'd like to give a really special thanks to Jeff and Sherry and Crafting a Cure for having me here today, allowing me to finally share my story with the world and making a difference in our world with their kind hearts. So I'd like to raise a glass of tastiness to all of you out there today and say cheers. Thank you very much, it means a lot.